Hello, I am Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown because only you rule your kingdom.
Hey, it is an unstoppable day. It's Terrence Leftridge, affectionately known as Mr. Unstoppable or Coach T, inviting you to become a part of an experience to help you become the best speaker you can be. Come on and join us at the 8-week Becoming the Best Speaker You Can Be mastermind group. Me and a couple of other coaches, Anthony Russo and Brenda Ringwood and Maud Miller, we are your team to help you get to the next level of your greatness and become the best speaker that you can be. Now, we do that by putting together this membership group where you can get coaching, encouragement, critique, and support to help you move from good to better and to best when it comes to speaking, whether it's as a professional or in your own personal development. Now, we've got a great course over 8 weeks that's going to help you with the benefits of becoming a speaker, the business of speaking, plus we'll help you craft your signature presentation that you can use in future presentations as you go along your speaker journey. We've got tools, tips, and strategies for new speakers as well as some seasoned speakers to take their message, to take their voice to the next level. Isn't it time that you became the best speaker that you can be? Well, go on over to the link below and sign up for our 8-week mastermind program that's going to be beginning soon. Simply go to www.btbspeaker.com, btbspeaker.com. We're looking forward to having you as part of our mastermind group so that you can become the best speaker that you can be.
Hi, it's Bren. We are doing another episode of BTBY TV, Becoming the Best Version of Yourself, Becoming the Best You that you can be. Today, I'm with Emily NIcole.
Hey.
She has got, man, her story. She's young, she's beautiful.
Thank you.
She's got a struggle, though. She's got a big struggle, but she lives past it. She moves past it. And the struggle started when she was young. It started as she started to grow up. And then it continued as an adult, but then she changed her mindset and said no more. So Emily, tell us a little bit about you, kind of a little about your childhood, how you got started being Emily.
Absolutely. So I'm a small town Southern girl, if you can't hear it. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I grew up on a farm. So we were cornbread fed all the way. And then just genetics played a role into that as well. And I've always been a bigger girl. That being said, I never knew that I was a bigger girl. I grew up wearing my brother's hand-me-downs, very much a tomboy. And I'll never forget when we started like grocery shopping at Kroger on Sundays and stuff, right when you got around that mid-2000s time. I would look as we're checking out and see those magazines, and it would be like, how to lose 10 pounds fast, or who's doing this, Jessica Simpson this, Jessica Simpson that. And I remember going and flipping through them and thinking, I don't see a single person that looks like me.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom always told me I was beautiful. I never felt bad or innately wrong with the way that I was, created. And I think that was one of those first moments where I was like, something's not right here. And I carried that with me throughout life. I would shrink little by little, experience by experience, until I truly believed that the way that I was handcrafted was wrong. Such an odd concept to think we all come from a creator, and somehow, just because of my size, society wasn't going to accept me. And to be here and be a plus size model now is actually wild, because that was not even a concept when I was a child. So,
and it's a dream come true for many.
Yeah, it is. It's a dream come true for myself, you know, thinking back to where I thought I was going to be versus where I am now. Experiencing early childhood addiction and alcoholism and abuse. I never truly believed that I would make it to 18. And I think we get to this placement in like our early 20s and in this time of self-discovery where most people experience that. As for myself, when I reached that stage, I was truly shocked that I had made it that far. And then I was like, oh, I have no idea how to function now. I don't know how to be an adult. Yeah. Like, I'm shocked that I've made it this far. I'm happy that I'm here, but I don't have the skills. And so many people that overcome childhood addiction and overcome that type of neglect and abuse, they don't have the skills. And I want to be that light of change, that seed for other individuals and young men, women and men to look at and relate to and go, okay, if she can do it, there's a greater possibility that I myself can do it.
Yes.
So that's where I want to go with that.
Well, I think it's absolutely wonderful. The things that our society put in place are wrong.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason why you can't be yourself. You can't live the life that you want to live. But it is people's opinions of us that we let inside that changes how we view ourselves.
Right.
And when we do that, it stops us in our tracks. So you also were on the speaking circuit for a little bit. You've been in the public eye, and you even stepped out of that because of self-esteem problems. Can you talk a little bit about your mindset?
Yeah, I can. So I actually was a big fan of Les Brown, was someone that got me through a very dark time in my life in my young adulthood. Listened to his YouTube all the time, and I ended up meeting this woman randomly, and we went to this event in Miami, and I had no idea that this event was a how-to event. This event was an event where Les Brown actually coached you on how to speak. I had no speaking abilities. I was fresh out of the gate, about 19, so still working through that holy cow, I'm still alive thing. Like, we're still getting, our bearings on that, and the fact that, we still have sea legs as far as adulthood goes. So I get to this event, they close the doors, Les Brown and his daughter come on stage, and they say, okay, we're gonna all line up and we're gonna get on stage and we're gonna share our stories. And I'm like, we're gonna do what? Negatory, that's gonna be an absolute no. That being said, I got in the very back of the line, and I was like, I know they're going to run out of time. I'm the youngest person in there. I'm extremely intimidated. There's wealth in the room. There's names in the room. I mean, people that I never thought I would be in the room with. And I was still feeling very small about myself, and as though I didn't have a right to be there. And as I'm in the back of the line, it's actually hilarious. I didn't think, like, okay, by the time I get up there, everyone's going to be sitting down. So I'm going to have undivided attention. So I'm working myself up for that, and I'm at the stairs, and I'm okay. Take a deep breath. We're going to talk about something translucent. We're going to talk about love. Everyone experiences love. We're just going to wing it. I didn't know love. I didn't know kindness. I didn't know anything about that. What was I doing? And I get on stage, and as I'm walking up, I hear this little voice say, "The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So you can hide, but I'm going to put you in the spotlight, and the time is now." And I have cold chills even talking about that day, because that's what started and thrusted me into who I am today. And I walked on stage, and I held the microphone, took a deep breath, looked out, and I said, I'm about to cry a lot. My name is Emily, and this is my story. And I went on to share this story about what I experienced with sexual assault and what that looked like for me. And it looks different for everyone who's experienced it, or something that's made them uncomfortable. But for me, it was very dark. I started being sexually assaulted at a very early age, and it continued up past being 15, 16, 17, 18. I never found my voice, went through a rape trial. So as I'm sharing this story, tears are just running down my face. And one by one, clap by clap, these women of all ages, these men of all ages are slowly standing up because it was resonating. I didn't have a gift. And if I did, I didn't know it then. I didn't have the voice, the words, the mannerisms, but I had something that resorted and looked like surviving. And that's what we're all looking for.
How to.
Absolutely. And as I come off stage, I'm embarrassed because I've cried, and I know I was stuttering and I didn't have the words to express what I really felt. I was getting hugged and embraced, and
You were getting love.
yes, and it was life altering. These women in their 60s were getting on stage and they were saying, I was sexually assaulted at this age and I never thought I would share it, but because of this young woman, I'm going to do that today. And they started sharing their stories, and I was just in awe. And I ended up getting off stage and I met my then mentor, and he showed me the ropes. I got to go on a trip with him, and it got dark very quickly.
Yeah, speaking's not a fun business.
It isn't. And I was so uneducated. Someone like me that comes in so green and has such a interesting, diverse story. I have acted, addiction, molestation, sexual assault, so many things that could truly help people and make them feel seen and heard, which is super important in the industry. Don't get me wrong. But through that experience, I had this mentor and got to work with amazing people and moved to Atlanta, created this career, this vision of what I was going to be. And my whole goal is to, when you think of PBS Kids, that's accessible education. That's things that we need in our society. We need things like this to create that depth and ability to connect. And my goal was fully, and still is, just going to be on a different way and level, to broaden our education on what consent means at a fundamental level, what consent means without it being spoken. We're not raised in this diverse understanding of, oh, we've got to watch body language. Like it's something where we're just uneducated about it. And for me, growing up and being uneducated about social cues and sexual assault, it can happen so much more likely for someone who has no idea the understanding of an experience. And I began being groomed through that, because growing up, my sexual assault was very apparent. It was very clear and scary. So to have someone that says, I value you,
Right.
I love you, I see you for all that you're worth, and you're going to create this, and we're going to do it together. To feel seen like that, to be a little girl that never got told I value you.
That you have a value.
Yes. And they know, master manipulators know what they are looking for. And that being said, I was sexually assaulted by my mentor and was faced with one of two options: to either out this person and go against someone who's successful and well-known. And for me at that time, I was scared. I'd already been through a rape trial that went horribly, because it was around the time the Brock Turner case happened. And they let him off with a slap on the wrist, even though he admitted to sexually assaulting this girl, actually raping her. And he said, his father actually got on the stand and said, this one moment should not define my son's career and his life and his future. Well, forever, his actions will define this young woman's life. For the rest of her life, she will wake up and she will have to readjust to that, to the fact that someone's known her body that didn't have the right to do so. And through that, I just realized that I didn't want to go through that again. So yeah, I fled. I was afraid, and I ran out of the industry so quick. And I still have this grave passion for it, which is one of the main reasons that I'm here today, because that person thought they took my power, and I know that they will see this, and they have not, and they will be in overwhelmed shock to know that I'm doing extremely well, and that you don't take my power.
Nobody could do that.
No.
They can if you let them.
Absolutely.
But you are the one that gives them that control.
Absolutely.
And you can also take it back.
I agree with you.
So tell us about your career now.
Oh man. So
You're every little girl's dream.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just to dial back really quick. Recently, I've started to be more transparent about my experience of getting into the industry on social media, on my TikTok platform. And I shared this brief story this month about my a rape trial that I went through at the age of 15. And lo and behold, about a month and a half ago, this girl adds me on social media. And I didn't see her message. It actually went to that private section. And she's a 15-year-old girl. She lives in another state, and she was looking for support because she's currently going through a rape trial the exact same way that I was. And at first I was hesitant because I was very nervous to think that maybe I didn't have what it took to be that support system. And man, was I enlightened through this experience. And recently, the other day, I got to go through with her through her experience in her deposition and working on securing the case and being a support system. And when I tell you that healed the little girl in me to be able to give back to someone that is standing in my shoes, walking, you know, and fighting my fight.
Powerful.
And that just was this resonating reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing, why it's important not to stop even when we're weary and when we're tired. So to double back to how I got in this industry, I have no idea.
Before you go there, that little girl helped you.
Yeah.
You were helping her.
Oh, for sure. And you know, we still talk on a every other day basis. She'll send me a message updating of how school's going and how she's trying to get back into life. I'll send her affirmations that I want her to work on throughout the week. And it's been extremely healing to me, because what she does not know, and I hope she sees this one day, is even though I'm talking to her, I'm also talking to 15-year-old me. And there's this thing we call our inner child that we have to work with and love and give grace to. And in our healing experience, I think it's so important to be in touch with our inner child. So yeah, in a lot of ways, she has changed my life. So it's been beautiful.
Okay, so now tell us what you're doing right now.
Sure. So I currently am a plus size model based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Just recently signed in Atlanta and working on getting signed across the country. That's the goal. We're going to speak that into existence. I am a size 16, 18. When we think of the median size for our society, we don't think about my size, but it is extremely normal. It's extremely normal to see women that are plus size, just as well as it's extremely normal to see women that are petite. For myself, I wanted to be representation. I have a bigger bust. I'm not exactly 6 foot, but I'm 5'9", and I could never find representation when I looked in media. Now, when we talk about plus size modeling, I had no clue that was going to come my way. I'm tomboy, never wore makeup. My dad bought my clothes from TSC. Like, she wore Wranglers. She had no idea what she was doing. That being said, I was actually a good friend of mine, her name is Nika Johnson. She was a stylist at the time. She said, "What are you doing here?" I met her at this telehealth job that I was working. I said, "Trying to get a paycheck. What are you doing here?" And I was still very insecure. And she said, "I'm going to be honest with you. I think you can model." And I'm laughing because for one, I'm insecure, and for two, I'm thinking, "I'm sorry, model? Have you seen the industry?" Clearly I hadn't recently, because it's actually extremely normal for plus size models. So I just went with it. She would sit up with me and teach me how to walk in heels. I looked like a baby giraffe. It was horrendous. Can't tell you how many times I twisted my ankle. She taught me about fashion. She took me under her wing with no expectation. And I truly owe a large part of my career to her. And she definitely shifted my life. And I remember we got to this party. It's Nashville Fashion Week is a big thing around here. It's kind of like New York Fashion Week. It's just done a bit differently and on a smaller scale, but it is absolutely amazing. I was going to this party and I'm super, super embarrassed and uncomfortable because I look around and I'm just seeing 6 foot girls, size 2, 3s, maybe a 6 thrown in there. And I'm like,
this is not who I am. Yeah.
I want to leave. Like, can we get out of here? I feel very uncomfortable. And I tell her, I nudge her, I say, "This is it, I'm done, I want to go home." She says, "Okay, there's one person I want you to meet before we leave." And as I turn, she shifts me and I look and the crowd kind of opens up and there's this woman sitting in a wheelchair, and I'm immediately slapped in the face with, "Hello. Yeah, you sound ignorant right now. You're embarrassed by the way you look, and here's this woman being confident." Not that her disability should stop her, but it was a subtle reminder that
if she's doing it, what's wrong with you?
Hello. Thank you. That being said, I was introduced to her, and her brand Fashion is for Everybody. And she was the first person that ever put me on the runway and believed in me. She actually got me signed, and her name is Alicia Searcy. And it's an amazing nonprofit in Nashville that is totally shifting lives, totally putting people on the runway that absolutely should be there for representation in society. And that started my career. I spent the first year doing little music videos in Nashville, doing things for free, because no one tells you when you start out, if you want it, you have to go after it. And that means doing things that aren't always convenient. Right. And things that are hard, and trying to scrape together the funds to create a shoot or a look, or working with a photographer who's just getting started. All your own expense. Yeah. No money coming in. And this past year, I guess it was last year, I got booked with an amazing brand, and that catapulted things for me. Quit my job. That's crazy. I was working for Vanderbilt Hospital, and that was in the peak of COVID. So when I tell you that was a breath of fresh air, nothing against the medical community, but for me personally, it was very challenging and exhausting. And when COVID happened, it was like, I don't know if I want this to be my career. Like, I was already going to school for radiology, and I just didn't know.
And let me tell you, when I first met you, that was your goal.
Yeah.
We were doing a couple of virtual events together and just kind of connecting. We did some shows, and you said, I don't think I can speak because I'm going back to school, and this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And this was just like a year ago.
I
maybe
know.
even a little less than a year ago.
And that speaks volumes to the universe moving you and placing you where you're supposed to be. Because if I would have known then what I know now, I would have been totally in disbelief. And to not work a public job anymore, dream come true. Society is wild right now. And to get to wake up every single day in possibility, that's really what modeling has given me, is that financial freedom to not only heal, because I still have work to do. I'm not this walking put together person. I still go to therapy once a week. I do energy healing, and I'm constantly expressing myself and learning and growing within that to see where I'm going to go, because
you're changing for the better every day.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And this may not be the end place for me. I believe that I have a greater calling, and I hope that this platform allows me a level to resonate with young women and men that can look at me and go, wow, there's possibility in here. I can do this. She makes me feel safe. And that's the goal. You know, I always said I wanted to be a mother. And there's something beautiful about not committing yourself to physical motherhood and actual mothering. I raised my younger siblings alongside of my mom. So I've experienced motherhood, and you guys have that. It is wild. I've done that for the past few years, and recently I'm stepping away from that now. And I know that I have that innately inside of me. We all do. And I want to pour into my community. I want to pour into society, and I want to be bold and unapologetic and just say, this is me. This is what you get. I'm not going to change myself for the betterment of others. I'm going to change myself for the betterment of me. And I'm going to stand true to that. And I really, truly cannot wait to look back and go, wow, I did this on my own, and actually make a shift in society. So that is my goal.
That is wonderful. And you're encouraging others to do it with you.
I am
bringing them with you. And that's huge. Sometimes we forget about the people that we leave behind. And there are those people that we need to leave behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it kind of goes both ways. But at the same time, you're encouraging, you're a breath of fresh air, you're personable, you don't think you're better than anybody else, and you truly want to help them. And that's powerful.
It is.
Tell me, give me a piece of advice for people who are trying to become the best you.
Just go ahead and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. The biggest piece of simple advice I can give you is healing is not for the weak. The thing that we get wrapped up in a society is that victim role. It's a big narration. It's a part of who we are. We share our experiences, and you see celebrities every single day saying, this happened to me. This was my experience, or this happened. And I'm going to stay in this place of victimhood. And it's popular to be a victim these days. I know, because I've been there. And it's quite comfortable, because you know what it does? Keeps you from healing. And no one wants to talk about that. You can stay a victim your whole life. There are things that have happened to me that I'll never be able to erase, that still keep me up at night till this day, but I refuse to let them have power over me. And that's a big thing that I think a lot of people forget, is you got to lay the victimhood down.
You do.
And you have to say, this is where I came from. This is where it started. but it's going to stop with me, whether that's generational trauma, in-home abuse, sexual assault, addiction. I know I was in active addiction at 12 years old. You can't tell me something I haven't experienced. I know it gets dirty. I know it gets messy. I know what it's like to be in the mud, because I used to believe that that's where I belonged, because it was easy and it was painful, but it was a hell of a lot easier than stepping outside of that, changing my perspective and saying, what would it be like if I gave myself value? Even though I've never been given value, what would it be like to brick and mortar self-esteem? And that's what modeling has truly done for me. So what I would say to someone who is trying to overcome that and step outside of their belief system is to be prepared to do the work. And that's the hardest thing. And it's not going to happen overnight. You know, I've been building this career for 3 years straight, and I'm just now making a decent income. And that's the truth. There's no luxury behind building a brand. There is once you get there and you can share that with people you care about, and just get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
It's very good advice. Very good advice. Well, Emily, how can they find you?
Sure. So I have across the board the same name except for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me, no spaces, Emily NIcole, curve model. Pretty simple there. And then on my social media, you can find me on Tribe Talent Management's website, as well as Ursula Wheatman, that's based out of Atlanta. And then hopefully soon I'll be doing other things. We'll just have to see.
Her story is so encouraging. So I really appreciate you doing this. People need to see that it's okay to be you. It doesn't matter what your size is, what your body shape is, what you look like. Be you. You can't control the way we look. You know, our face is our face.
Right.
Our height is our height. You can't control some of that. So go with it, embrace it. And you know, I tell my girls, because myself included, we struggle with weight. And I say, not every person likes a skinny woman.
Nope.
You have to, you know, everybody has their own likes.
Right.
So embrace who you are. So with that being said, I'm going to have to say what I always say: change your mindset, change your actions, and change your life. Thanks for watching, guys.
You know, I'm just hanging out at home working on some edits on some film that we shot. We really have some miraculous stories of some wonderful people who have truly come a long way in life, that have overcome challenges, but they stepped out and they did the things that they wanted to do, and they grasped the life that they wanted for themselves. And I got to think, well, maybe some of you don't know the reason behind the BTBY movement. What is my story and why this movement is so important to me? Why you are so important to me? Why your life matters to me? And why I want to see you become the best version of yourself. So I wrote this book, and, you know, I had a lot of friends tell me I needed to write it, and I really didn't want to. But the more I do this, the more I felt that it was needed just for myself, even to heal. So if you've got a story out there, you know, sometimes it helps to write it down. And my book is called When the Truth Hunts You Down by Brenda Ringwood. You can get it on Amazon. It's real short. It's just about 100 pages. So go check it out on Amazon. I'd love to hear more from you and what you think about the show and this movement. You can always find me at social media at Brenda Ringwood, brendaringwood@gmail.com, or at thingsbybrenda.com. I have some exciting news. Patch Adams is going to open up the Gesundheit Institute for a Moonshine Festival. He's going to call it Mooning with Patch. It's Labor Day weekend this year. Great prices. All the money goes to his organization to help build his facilities. The teaching center first, and then finish up with the hospital. Of course, some of the donations will go to actually run the festival, but the rest of them all go to build his buildings. Can you imagine letting his 51-year-old dream come true? Wow. Go on over to thingsbybrenda.com and grab those tickets. You have 3 options. You can go for one day, you can go for both days, or you can buy VIP tickets, which has a whole bunch of stuff included. Go on over to thingsbybrenda.com and grab those tickets.